1140 The Fan. Talkin Money.
And we're back. It's Talkin Money with Jeff Tarbell.
How are you?
Waking up.
That must have been too easy of a quiz question. Chris, did you move, or is that just me? You're working, you know? Wholesale change is going on behind the glass here. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Or you can text us at 441140. My name's Jeff Tarbell. That's John Fodorero. This is Talkin Money. Your quiz question was this is the same place you can't get trans fat and smoke, I think, too, right?
This is right.
So you can no longer get what?
Greater than a 16-ounce sugar drink.
In which city?
Otherwise known as soda, iced tea, etc. The city would be New York City.
New York City.
A leader out there.
Yeah, leader.
Making everybody healthy.
But I thought the article insinuated that you couldn't get that in a restaurant, but you could walk around to the 7-Eleven around the corner and get a big gulp.
Right.
So what's the dealio there?
Same with the smoking thing.
Oh, is that right? So
yeah.
They don't. So you're. I guess if you're real lazy, and you can't get out of your car. But there's nobody goes through cars in New York City anyway.
Yeah, the ban would affect beverages served at restaurants, mobile food carts, delis, and concessions at movie theaters, stadiums, and arenas. But you could go to 7-Eleven.
So you cannot get more than a 16-ounce soda at a movie theater?
That's correct.
Oh, that is jacked up. I always get the big giant Coke up there, and then I got to pee halfway through the movie.
Of course.
I missed the second half of the movie. That is ridiculous.
That's the only way you can get all that popcorn down.
That's right. I got to soak the popcorn down. So New York City. We'll get some winners out, some IMAX passes on that. Thank you very much to the folks at IMAX and down there at the Esquire IMAX in downtown Sacramento. So we'll get out some passes to them. I was mentioning before the break the sell in May and go away strategy. Just reading this article a little further here. Why do it in advance when you can do it the minute of? So this was and I have not heard of this. If you have, let me know if you follow this. This is Jeff Hirsch, editor of the Stock Traders Almanac. Anybody familiar with that?
It's out of my league.
I've heard of the what's the Farmer's Almanac? I could tell you if it's going to rain or not. Well, this is basically the stock version of the Farmer's Almanac. And so he sends out a sell in May and go away signal, and he kind of monitors the market. But basically, his concept is that you invest from basically November through April, and the theory being that the summer is so slow that companies kind of grind down to a halt through the summer, and you can switch your strategy, you can switch your investments options around, which I always find is a lot of dangerous. I think you spend a lot of time fees moving things around, but he was right this time because the market had run up 25% since October. Had you taken his advice, the market now in June has turned to a loss. But this is what the interesting. Now, of course, this doesn't mean a lot because if we pick the right 6 numbers in the lottery, we'd have a lot of millions of dollars too. But since 1950, if you followed the basic investment policy of November to April 30th and invested $10,000. If you just kept your investments in those positive months, there's a lot of ifs coming out here, right? So you would have made $1.88 million by investing in a bullish 6-month period. And if you just strictly invested in the down 6-month period, you would have $6,700. So there's a fairly decent swing there between
pretty big swings
between $1.88 million and $6,700. But there woulda, coulda, shoulda in that article. So another gentleman, Brian Belsky, chief investment strategist at BMO Capital Markets, says making wholesale portfolio changes based on seasonality is extremely dangerous, and I agree with that. All you're trying to do here is time the market again, I guess. So I
don't think timing works, does it?
Well,
you can try
if that's what you, I guess, do for a living, and that's what you're.
Right.
I don't know how you come. So let's say I have my money in a 401k and I have $10,000 in my 401k. So I kicked butt from October through April last year. Now the market is down. So let's say it goes all the way down again through October again of next year, and I don't sell anything. Have I really lost anything? Yeah. So I didn't sell at the top. I also didn't sell at the bottom when it was declining. So now I sit there again. So I have the same amount of shares, or maybe if they're reinvesting, maybe I pick up a few extra shares during the summer. And then the market picks back up again in October, November, and then my stock value comes back up again, and hopefully I have a few more shares. So really, if you asked me, and I'm not a financial planner and I'm not a stock trader, but if that were the case, and someone were to come to me and say, hey, this is pretty routine, that that things are going to be down in the summer and really kicking butt in the winter, then maybe I would be better off just to time my investments or adding into my 401k, making more investments during those summer months. So I'm actually buying, all my shares.
Buying low.
Yeah, buying low and buying all my shares, in the late spring and in the summer, or maybe even summer into the fall. And I do all my investment in that window there. And then when prices start getting hot again, I don't put a lot more money into that market through the next 6 months. And so maybe, and of course this is for somebody who's in their 40s, not someone who's retiring or needs to use those income funds for other things. So if you want to take some advice like that or take some information like that and put it in your own brain and say, okay, I contribute to my 401k, maybe what I'll do is I'll double up in the summer months and not so much in the winter. But besides, I got Christmas and I got tax bills coming, all those other things, during those times of season. So, I'll won't do much then, and I'll just get real heavy in the summer. Maybe that's good advice.
I'm taking notes.
Are you?
Yeah.
I don't see a pen in your hand.
I was just looking for one. I think you stole it from me, though.
Okay. Speaking of buying and selling, so this is an interesting. I did see this week that the Cal Expo was gifted the big California sign from the front of Disneyland, or from the California Adventure at Disneyland. Have you ever seen?
I did hear something about that.
Okay, yeah. So last time I was down there, they were remodeling. You notice how they never tell you, by the way, when you're coming down, they don't ever say, oh, if you're coming down here, by the way, half our stuff's closed this week because we're remodeling.
And your tickets are discounted, right?
Yeah. So anyway, I did notice last time we were down there that the big California letters that were out there in the kind of that center between the two parks, it was gone. I just thought they were remodeling.
Stolen or something.
Yeah. I saw some dude walking off with an L on his back. I thought it was kind of weird, but I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want to get people business. But I did note that they were all missing. Well, I saw this week that they were donated to Cal Expo. So they will be out in front of the Cal Expo.
Cal Expo big enough for all that?
Well,
that's a lot of letters.
I guess so. Maybe they'll spread them around the park. You can just find a letter and make your own words out of it. So I think by next season. So this is part of a $7.4 billion with a B $billion capital investment program by Walt Disney for all of their parks and all of their investments. $3 billion more in the last 3 years. So Disney has been showing not very much profit over the last few years because they've been obviously if you take $7 billion,
spend a little bit of money.
Yeah, if you're burning through $7 billion, you might not have as much money. Well, they're done doing all that now, and now you look at their estimate for 2012 in terms of their income and revenue now is really skyrocketed. So Disney, while everybody else kind of went into a hole, companies didn't spend any money. Disney did the opposite, and they are now starting to see some major returns on their investments in terms of their parks and other things too. So if you're looking for not only a place to go for the summer, maybe all the rides will be back open again, but you're also looking for a place maybe as an investment if you want to invest in Disney. They are probably going to see some good returns, is my guess, on a lot of the money they spent.
Yeah,
those guys seem to be able to print money.
They seem to do things right. I mean, isn't that what everybody tells you? When everything's bad, start buying. When everything's good,
yep. When the firemen are running in,
so they must know something. That Disney guy, he's pretty bright.
Yeah, he's not too bad. And I noted one other thing too that they did, which I think is contrary. First of all, they raised their prices to their parks, and they significantly raised their prices for their season passes, which is contrary. So I started thinking about what's the logic behind that. So you and I are season pass buyers of ski passes. Buy early, get a good discount, and it comes out ahead. Well, Disney, I think rightfully so, has decided that their season pass people that live down there are burdening the parks with overcrowding. And so when someone like you or I or anybody from out of the area comes down there, we get a little discouraged, I do, with the traffic and the number of people down there, and it makes you not want to go back. And so the question I had was, where do they really make their money? You look at a ski resort. Why does a ski resort sell a season pass? It wants to have kind of a baseline of income. Right. So it says, okay, these are our diehards. We're going to get our money in before the season even starts, regardless whether it snows or doesn't snow. I already have my pass for next year. I have no idea what the weather's going to be like, right? So they've got my money. It's going to be good. It's going to be great. They got my money. But they need the one-off guy, the guy who comes up for the one weekend who pays full retail at $90 to join. So Disney needs the same thing. And if we come down there with our families, and every time I've been down there with the exception of once, I've swore I'm never going back. Because I flippin' hate those lines, and I don't like standing around a bunch of people. But of course, I'm a moron because I always go the same time every other moron goes, which is during the holiday break. So if I was a genius, I would have gone, sometime other than when I'm usually planning on going.
Right.
So I think what they're trying to do is trying to cut down, believe it or not, kind of cut down some of those season pass people so that you can get more of the high payers in there to
Yeah, if I recall, they're pretty inexpensive.
For the season pass? For
the season pass, if you live in that Orange County,
but why don't they just do what the ski resorts do, which is hey, if you want our discounted season pass, you can't come at Christmas, you can't come on these holidays. There's a cutoff time when it's normally busy. You come when everybody else isn't here, and maybe they do. I've not seen a season pass. If anybody has one or knows that the answer to that, you can text me or let me know 441140 or 3391140. We're going to take one more call here real quick, and then we'll get to the break. Let's get to John in Roseville. John in Roseville, what's happening?
Hey, Jeff, thanks for taking my call.
No problem.
Hey, I've got a couple rental properties that I refinanced about 8 years ago, and I'm just wondering if now is the time to refinance them. I've got a real low rate, but it's on an adjustable rate mortgage, and I'm a no-risk type of guy, and I'm just wondering, is now the time to lock in, a 3 or 3.5% rate, because both of them are at 2.6 and 2.9% right now on an ARM.
Are they upside down, or do you have equity in them?
The one in Galt is upside down. The one in Lincoln, I'm about probably $75,000 ahead on.
Okay. And how long are you going to keep these rentals?
I want to keep them for as long as I can. I don't plan. I've had the one in South Sacramento County for about 20 years now, 22 years.
Okay.
Now. It's a great rental property, but the ARM I got locked into about 8 years ago was a 40-year Washington Mutual, which is now a Chase loan.
Right.
And I'm just wondering if I can even refinance them. Simply because they are rental properties. I don't live in them. Yeah,
you can refinance a rental property. It doesn't matter. What it comes down to is, as a quote unquote general rule of thumb, is you want to be on the rentals to see you can do an 80% purchase, you can do a 75% refinance, unless they are a Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac owned loan, in which case you can refinance them under HARP. And I'll talk some more about HARP in the second hour today too. But HARP will allow you to refinance even if you're upside down. Now, my guess is the 40-year WAMU one may not be a Fannie or Freddie loan, but you can look on. In fact, if you just Google, does Fannie Mae own my loan or does Freddie Mac own my loan? You Google those two terms and just fill out the information about yourself and the property. It'll tell you yes or no.
Okay. Okay.
Now, I've had. So the answer to your question is if you're a no risk person. Well, you've been on an ARM for 8 years, so and you've probably done okay. Most financial planners will tell you that if you'll live with an ARM and stick with it over time, you'll probably come out okay. I would say that right now, when we're at the lowest point in our lifetime of fixed rates, that if your goal is to keep those properties, you might want to tie down and lock in one of those rates if you can.
Right.
So the first thing I would do is look up and see if they're Fannie or Freddie owned. The one that has the $75,000 in equity, maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe you have enough equity anyway.
Okay.
I'd probably tie those down. Secondly, I would also give some serious consideration, depending on the cash flow, if you can get a 15-year or maybe at worst a 20-year fixed on those and start getting those things paid off.
Well, that's what I was thinking too, because I think I owe about I got 33 years on the term left, and I was thinking actually of maybe knocking it down to either 30 years or, like you said, even 20 years.
Yeah. So and I just, I have a financial planner as well, and I have rental houses as well. And one of our discussions last week was, when when do you want to retire? When do you want to quit working? And so maybe it's time to take these rentals while you're making money, while things are going okay. Make them a little bit negative. So pay a little bit more than you normally would. Pay a little extra out of pocket now. Get them paid off so that when you look down the road 10 years from now, you're looking around and these things are almost paid off. Then they're generating cash for you. Many of us don't need the cash flow from a rental right now. It's nice if they cover themselves, but if they're a little bit negative, it probably is not the end of the world. But 10 or 15 years from now, when we want to maybe cut back and quit not work as much, we need them to generate a cash flow at that point. So you might look, seriously about biting the apple a little bit and trying to whittle those things away as fast as you can. But I would certainly look into getting both of them fixed if you can at this point.
Okay. Well, I do appreciate the information and love the show.
All right, John, appreciate it very much. If we can help you out, give us a call.
Okay, Jeff.
All right, take it easy.
Bye.
All right. We got to take another break. We got another quiz question or not? We got one more IMAX pass to see. How many IMAX did we give away last break? Did we give away 3 pair? Okay, let's do another 3 pair. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. You can text me at 441140. This one's not going to be as easy as the New York City soda there. Tighten it up there, Fod.
So we're talking about real estate here and home prices.
Okay.
So in March, home prices improved from year earlier levels in 7 metropolitan areas, and there's a few that they've declined. So the question is, in which cities have home prices fallen the fastest, and where have they risen?
Okay, so which city did the best, and which city did the worst last month nationwide? The best is going to surprise a few people. The worst, I don't know we'll ever get the worst, but 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. If you're a golfer, that might be an easy question for you. I'm watching Tiger up here banging away. We'll be, this is Talkin Money. My name is Jeff Tarbell. That's John Fodder. We'll be
right back.